Hey, how's it going, guys? It's the Llamacer here, and welcome back to another Rocket League video. And in this one, guys, I have got for you a special episode of the 5 facts, secrets, and glitches in Rocket League that you probably never even knew. That's right, guys. So what I mean by special is that every single one of these facts and secrets is going to be on something that was added in the new update. So that means that anything in the Nitro crate as well as on Neo Tokyo is fair game, and just overall, I think this episode is going to be a ton of fun. But anyways, speaking of updates, I want to remind you guys that the app Link, the completely free and #1 LFG app for Rocket League, just recently added a group chat feature that is super helpful. So again, if you guys are new to this app, basically it lets you find other Rocket League players to play with by creating beacons based around if you're looking for a 2v2 player, maybe like a master, stuff like that. But now that they've added a group chat feature, you can talk about strategies, work out who you want to play with, and it also works great for figuring out trades outside of the game. So yeah, be sure to check that out through the link in the description, and when you sign up, do not forget to click that the Llamacer sent you to get a limited badge to use in the app. But other than that, guys, enough general talk here, and let's get into it with the first fact. Alright guys, so starting off this video, let's begin with a fact that has to do with my personal favorite thing that was added in this update, the Nitro crate. So yeah, if you happen to see my latest crate opening, and I will leave a link to that at the end of the video if you haven't, but this crate has just been pretty nice to me, and I just think that a lot of the items that were added were unique and actually look really sick. And I know that some people aren't too fond of these items, especially like the Mantis and maybe the exotic wheels, but personally I think having these unique ones, and actually once you play with the Mantis, it starts to grow on you. And then with the Draco wheels, again, once you get them along with the K2s, especially in painted, they are some of the coolest wheels you will ever see. But I don't quite want to talk about those yet in the video. Instead, I want to go up to the imports, and in particular talk about the wheels that go by the name Triplex, or in other words, kind of the Troika's older brother, because they do actually use the same tread. So hey, that's kind of a bonus fact there. But instead, I want to take a look at an Easter egg that happens on the inside of the rims. So of course, when you're looking at the Triplex, you look at the inside of the rims and they have this glowing pattern to them. Now at first glance, that just kind of looks like random lines, a random pattern that they decided to add to these wheels. However, if you decide to then look at the wheels in a replay, you can clearly see that it actually says Rocket League with Rocket on the bottom and League on the top, which is honestly a really cool Easter egg that goes past a lot of people. But if you take the time to look at these in detail, you get to see something that just makes these wheels a little bit more special. But moving on back to the exotics, and unfortunately this isn't a fact about the Dracos. Honestly, the Dracos are pretty straightforward. There's no secrets there. I mean, they have a dragon on the front, and of course Draco means dragon in Latin, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of common knowledge. So instead, I thought we'd take a look at the K2s, whose name is a little bit more mysterious, and one that I think a bunch of people would miss. So yeah, to figure this out, it takes a bunch of research, going through textbooks, freaking science articles from the 1930s. I'm just kidding. It takes a literal Google search to figure out what this means. And then when you go to Wikipedia, you can see that K2 is actually the mountain that is the second highest mountain in the world, with the first of which, of course, being Mount Everest. Now, along with that, K2 is officially known as Mount Godwin Austen, or Shoguri, which I'm probably butchering that name. But yeah, this mountain can be found on the China-Pakistan border and is over 28,000 feet tall, which I'm told is actually taller than Mount Cronovi. But anyways, definitely a super fitting name because of course these are the ice wheels, and I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure there is a ton of ice on the top of a mountain like this. But either way, it's a very cool name for a very cool wheel. Moving on to the third secret now, let's finally get into Neo Tokyo and take a look around, because there still are some very awesome things to see. Now of course, the new Neo Tokyo has the same exact scenery in the background as the old Neo Tokyo, or Tokyo Underpass as it's known now, but there's still just so many little secrets hidden around the outside of the map that you can find if you happen to be looking close enough. Now with that being said, one of the ones we haven't talked about yet, you go over to this corner of the map and zoom in, you can see that there are a bunch of the eggs in a pretty interesting position. Now obviously this is clearly a play on the eggs in the crowd that we still need to figure out why exactly they chose eggs. I think that would make a very interesting video, and I have a lot of personal theories on it. But as of right now, for this Easter egg, they decided to take the eggs and put it on this little logo right here. Now that's not the only interesting thing about these. If you then exit Neo Tokyo and go into your garage, and if you happen to have a C2 crate, which everybody seems to have a C2 crate, I don't think I've seen somebody open those in a very long time, but if you click on them and then of course go down to the Roadhog XL, you can see those same eggs on the back mud flaps of the Roadhog. So yeah, they obviously make a lot more sense here because they're playing on like like real life truckers mud flaps that you see every once in a while. But what's funny about that is that Neo Tokyo came before the Roadhog XL. So, like, it makes a ton more sense that they would create this as a joke for these mud flaps. But being that they created them for Neo Tokyo first, just has me really curious as to why. So if anybody at Psyonix is watching this video, be sure to send me a message because I really want to know who was behind this design and just why they decided to do it. But moving on here to the fourth fact, and then we'll come back to Neo Tokyo at the end. But let's take one more look at an item from the Nitro crate, and more specifically, the insane Batmobile V2, the Mantis. So yeah, the Mantis, again, a lot of people like it and some people don't. And honestly, when I first saw it, I wasn't a big fan. But once you actually get behind it and start driving it and get a feel for it, it is actually a very nice car to have. However, there's actually one funny little glitch slash mistake with it. Now, big thanks to C4Gunner7 on Twitter for showing me this, and honestly, I don't know how he even found it, but it's still a very funny thing, and props to him for managing to figure it out. But anyways, it is a very small mistake, I will say that, and all you need to do to see it is move your camera around so that you're looking at the back right wheel, and once you look inside of it, you'll notice that it is the only wheel out of the 4 that doesn't have a brake pad. So no doubt a game-breaking glitch, but either way, it is actually kind of funny because if you look at every single other one, you see the bright red brake pad, which we actually talked about the colors of brake pads in a previous episode, but then when you look at the back right, that one for some reason is left out. So just like with every small little glitch, it's just an interesting thing to notice because Rocket League is always just such a perfect game that it's just cool to see that they are human sometimes, they do make mistakes, and in my eyes, it actually adds a little bit of character to the Mantis. Now, finishing off this episode with an awesome fact and getting back into it with Neo Tokyo, let's just take a look at all of the Japanese / Chinese symbols that are thrown everywhere on this map. Now, huge shout out to Erickson Rao on Reddit for translating a bunch of these signs and symbols because unfortunately I just do not know how to translate Japanese. So big thanks to him for going through and making a post about this. But anyways, let's just look through the 3 pictures that he posted here because they are very cool. Some of them are honestly quite gibberish, like this orange sign up here which literally just says with lightning speed. So kind of relating to Rocket League, but not really. And then next to that one you have kind of a long one with putting one's heart and soul into ... one kick or winning easily, such as GG easy, which honestly doesn't make any more sense. And then finally you have one on the side that says gold, or in other words just money. So some funny translations there, but not as bad as train stop and hot spring resort Genovi, which your guess is as good as mine as to if that was a joke or means something else somehow. And then above that you do have one that says iron wall, which technically relates to being a good goalie. But getting into the final one, you literally have these symbols up here which just are gibberish, and then next to it you have a couple that say wind, electricity, and explosion, which are equally as confusing, but not as confusing as beloved car doctor. Yeah. Now next to that you do have defense and flying, which make a lot more sense, but altogether they are pretty confusing, and unfortunately there's not like one super Easter egg one, but either way they're still super interesting to know about, and maybe Psyonix will get their Japanese down in the future so that we can have a super cool Easter egg. But anyways guys, that is going to be it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to leave a like down below, and do not forget to subscribe if you're new, as well as check out some of my previous videos such as the best crate opening I have ever had, including a mystery and a ton of painted items, and then on the right an awesome app for PC that helps you out a ton in Rocket League. But other than that guys, again, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm the Llamacer, and I will see you guys next time.